Welcome back, Fantasy Cheat Sheeters. This episode is a fun one. We have the 20 sleepers offensively for the NFL Draft, 2023 NFL Draft. These are players that are generally outside of the top 20 or 25 for the professional rankers. Players I think that have a chance to not only be drafted, but to make the back end of the roster through training camp. So let's jump right in. At number 20, the fullback from North Dakota State, Hunter Luepke. This guy is a versatile fullback. He's kind of an H-back type. He lines up all over the field, good hands, and he tested better than was expected out of him, and is definitely going to be drafted. I think he's going to be a contributor at the next level. At number 19, tight end out of Nebraska, Travis Vokolek. I think I'm saying that right. He is a transfer from Rutgers to Nebraska. Big body tight end. He was underused, I feel. He needs a little bit of refinement in some of his traits and some of the blocking that I've seen. But I think he was underused to the point that he could be a contributor at the next level. Number 18, out of Louisiana Tech, I have H-back written for this player. Again, he was listed as a tight end, I believe, but it's Griffin Herbert out of Louisiana Tech. Slightly undersized, that's why I don't think he'll be a full-time tight end at the next level, but there's traits there that you can see there's enough athletic movements from him that he should be able to get on the field, similar to Hunter from North Dakota State. But Griffin Herbert had a very, very good last season there at Louisiana Tech, and I'm looking forward to see where he goes in the draft. At number 17, we have Drew Painter, tight end out of James Madison. He wasn't used at James Madison until this year, but he did show flashes of being a competent tight end, receiving tight end, that is. And small school, so it's tough to say what will translate. But like I said, he did have some flashes this season. At number 16, another tight end, Kamere Everett from Bethune-Cookman, HBCU University, small school, but athletic. He had a great season this year, found the end zone quite a bit. Big, long, but overall just average athletically. Is a player that I have hope for making impact maybe down the road, but I wouldn't expect much more than a practice squad out of him this year. Number 15, we have wide receiver from Hampton, Jadakiss Bonds, record-setting wide receiver from Hampton. Left the university, I believe. I know with touchdowns, but I believe even receptions, receiving yards, kind of the whole gambit there. He was a red zone threat, and he showed really well at the Shrine Bowl. So excited to see 6'4" frame, see what Jadakiss Bonds has at the next level. At number 14, we have a running back out of Virginia State, Darius Haggins. This is a hard-nosed runner, but besides getting those tough yards, he's proficient out of the backfield, running routes, good enough hands to possibly be a contributor at the next level. I don't know where he stands on picking up blitzes as a blocker to be a complete third down back, but here's a guy that's not going to get left off a team because of receiving skills from the backfield. At number 12, we have from Harvard running back Aiden Borgett. This is a guy, obviously from Harvard, we know has elite intelligence, but he's just killed it in the Ivy League the last 2 years. I believe player of the year, I know this year, but I think even offensive player of the year 2 years in a row in the Ivy. Just had a really great pro day, showed how athletic he actually is, and I mean, this guy has a lot of the traits teams are looking for as a third running back. So I expect him to be drafted and to make a team right off the bat next season. At number 11, I put running back, wide receiver, kind of gadget utility offensive player from UCLA, Kazmeir Allen. Was kind of an all-purpose weapon for Chip Kelly there in the Bruins. He's shifty, proved a good athlete. When the ball's in his hands, he's dangerous. Slightly undersized, but just a really crafty football player. At number 10, we have running back from Louisiana, Chris Smith. He's a weapon as a runner, as a receiver, and as a return man, where he did both punt and kick return in college. So he's got a lot of versatility teams will be looking for, including special teams. At number 9, we have another running back coming out of Tulsa, Deneric Prince. Good size with an athletic frame coming out of Tulsa. Not quite top of the line competition, but still in that mid-level. Did very well, but then tested outstanding at the combine, really turning some heads, and I think solidifying himself as kind of that second batch of running backs right in the mix for the draft coming up here this weekend, actually. At number 8, we have wide receiver from Fresno State, Nico Remigio. Another transfer student, ended up at Fresno State. Undersized. He's destined for the slot, I feel. But overall, he is crafty, great with the ball in his hand, and another experienced returner, which should help him open up more opportunities to make a team this season and beyond. At number 7, we have Jamal Turner, tight end out of Toledo. He only had 1 year production at Toledo, but 8 TDs. Getting in the end zone that many times this year was very nice. Surprise, kind of showed up out of nowhere. Shows explosive abilities, and like I said, had a nose for the end zone, was a big part of that Toledo team this year. At number 6, we have Elijah Higgins, wide receiver from Stanford. Now, with other wide receiver there taking up a lot of the publicity, Michael Wilson, Elijah Higgins is kind of floating as a backseat player to him, but it's not that big of a gap. I don't really feel like. A little bit different. One's more of a route tactician, one's the big body Elijah Higgins. But I'm really excited to see where he goes. I think he can be a contributor almost right away. But with that said, his size and weight, some teams might think of him not as an outside X receiver, but converting him to tight end. So it'll be interesting to see who drafts him and what their plan is for him next year. At number 5, we have running back, Arizona State. I'm going to probably butcher this name, but Xavier Valade. He transferred into Arizona State, stepping in to the Rachaad White role after he vacated for Tampa Bay this year, and really picked up right where he left off. Had a great season at this competition, coming over from Wyoming and going to Arizona State. Tore it up. A little bit older as a recruit, as a prospect. But, I mean, if you liked White in the draft last year, this guy put up almost the exact same yards at the same program. So I'm very big on Valade. Number 4, it's kind of a sad story. I didn't want to take him out of this list, but it's wide receiver Michael Jefferson from Louisiana. I really liked Michael Jefferson this season. Fortunately, earlier this month, he got in a car accident, which is deemed to be not his fault, and he's injured. We are wishing Michael Jefferson the speediest of return. He's saying that he's still determined to make a career out of playing football. I don't know what the extent of the injuries are, but we're pulling for him. We're thinking about him. We're sorry this happened to him right before one of his biggest stages, but adversity will only make you stronger. And we hope to see you back on the field very soon. At number 3, wide receiver from Penn State, Mitchell Tinsley. Similar to Elijah Higgins, Tinsley's been getting overlooked because of Parker Washington, but he is a damn good football player. I mean, proficient route runner, great hands, good along the sidelines, knows how to set up defenders on second moves. I really think he's going to be a surprise producer out of this group. That is not a superstar-laden wide receiver group, but it is deep in talent and pick your flavor, all sorts of different sizes, types of wide receiver. But I'm really excited about Tinsley. Can't wait to see where he goes. And he's probably a player I'm going to be getting towards the end of my dynasty drafts as much as I can. At number 2, we have another wide receiver out of Arkansas, Matt Landers. Big, fast, strong wide receiver. Similar to Quentin Johnson, if you could build a wide receiver in a lab, this is what the guy would look like. He's a true X outside wide receiver. Tested great, has all the tools and huge frame. So I'm super excited for his prospects at the next level, being one of the bigger wide receivers faster in this draft. And my number one sleeper offensive player for this 2023 pre-draft, obviously, things might change after we see where people land, who gets drafted. I will be doing more sleeper fantasy videos coming up. But pre-draft, I have tight end out of Wake Forest, Blake Whiteheart. I've seen a few other people that are really big on him, but I definitely know I'm higher on him than most. I was excited to watch Wake Forest this year playing well. Sam Hartman at quarterback, former QB1 Netflix star. And then Whiteheart just kept making plays, not only receiving, but downfield blocking. And then watching his tapes, highlights, I just think he was underused. If you combine his 3 seasons into one, the amount of targets, receptions, yards, it looks like a top tier tight end for one season. And it's great numbers. So I'm just saying underused, but a really fun wide receiver to watch. His commitment and drive is at the top of this group, I think. So those are the 20 players that I'm waiting to see where they go, if they go, and if not, maybe they're non-drafted free agents team that they go with. But 20 guys that definitely have potential that you should keep your eye on for your dynasties coming up in the upcoming season. That's Fantasy Cheat Sheet again with the 20 sleepers for the offensive side. I'm Johnny Stocks. If you like what you hear, please subscribe, like, and we'll see you soon. Can't wait for this weekend. NFL Draft, baby.